Hey guys, Cold here. Welcome to another Racial Legends video. Guys, this one will be an Akoth The Seared guide and showcase. This champion is one of the three acquired from beating the normal Doom Tower secret room. So if you are in the progress of beating the rooms, then you know the normal Doom Tower. The first champion there reward is the Archmage helmet. He's a fantastic champion, honestly, much better than Thea, the Tomb Angel, who is the reward for beating the hard Doom Tower secret rooms. You need to beat them for about 3 or more months time, beat all the rooms for 3 consecutive months. So it is quite a big jump into getting first Archmage helmet and also then getting Akoth. So if you are one of the ones that picked him up, then you want to see where you can actually use him, or if it's really worth the effort of going through all those sacred runes and putting extra effort in beating them, so that you can pick up Akoth in the future. So let's go over the way that I've geared him. I've geared him with a mixture of HP and accuracy. I went overboard a little bit on accuracy. The reason is, guys, very basic. You want him to be used in the hard version of the Doom Tower. 350 accuracy is what you need for all the way to the end, and also you'll need about 350 even for beating the normal Doom Tower boss when it's the Frost Spider. So lots of accuracy is needed. What I would change a little bit on the build that I just did was maybe put some more speed in there. The more the merrier, but I wanted to focus on getting him with lots of HP as well. HP is very important on this champion, as well as defense, because he is a defense based champion. So if you want to get some extra damage to him, then you'll need some defensive stats. So I went with an HP percent glove and HP percent chest. Not the best ones that I have on this account, but definitely solid ones for what we want to use him for. So his skills, let's go over his skills very quickly. Molten Punch, he's A1, 50% chance of placing a 30% decreased critical rate debuff for 2 turns. This is a cool skill. I want to say that decreased critical rate is underrated, I would say, although it's not as effective, because I mean, you would rather have this as an AoE just to apply this on everybody, but still on a single target. This works on bosses as well, because bosses can also crit. This is a great skill to have. Only 60, 70%, 75% with the masteries for it to proc. Then let's go over his A2 Pyroclasm. This is what makes him truly special, and it will help you beating down that spider. 25 attacks all enemies. 20% chance of placing an HP burn debuff for 2 turns. The chance of placing the debuff increases by 20% for each alive enemy. So of course, when you're fighting the spider on spider 25, or whichever stage you want to fight, then this will be 100% chance to apply the HP burn on a 3-turn cooldown. Pretty good, and you need the HP burn to be applied. He's gonna be of course neutral affinity on that stage, so no issues of weak hits going in there. Then his A3 Pyretic Release, guys, attacks all enemies, 50% chance of increasing the cooldowns of all skills by 2 turns on enemies under the HP burn debuffs. Pretty good actually, especially if you're using this for beating down stages of the Doom Tower, beating those floors where you need to increase the cooldowns of enemies. You don't have anything like a Basher or of course a Warlord. And then he also plays a shield buff equal to 20% of this champion's max HP on lives for 2 turns. This shield is actually really good. It's another way to protect your team. Of course, this is why I built some health on this champion to get that shield based on however max HP you have on him. And then finally, his passive, 10% chance of placing a fear debuff on an enemy for 1 turn whenever they receive damage from an HP burn debuff placed on themselves. So well, basically this is when they get a turn, they get this chance to apply the fear. It's not that high. It's actually 25% chance. It does not go up with any masteries, so it's just going to be that flat 25%. And then finally, his aura, increase ally HP in all battles by 25%. For masteries, what I did, guys, is I picked, of course, War Master, since he is a single target hitter. And then I went the support tree, heavy in the support tree, getting Arcane Celerity for him to get some extra turn meter whenever his HP burns or other debuffs expire. I went for Lore of Steel because of the mix of sets I have on him. Evil Eye, then Sniper, and of course Master Hexer. These are his masteries, pretty solid ones for the kind of champion he is. Wow, look at that. Pretty cool graphics, by the way. So let's go over and see where we're actually going to use Akoth The Seared. So guys, now the first test for Akoth is going to be, can he actually be helpful for Spider 25? What we want to see is, will he be applying the HP burn first, or will he be applying the A3 first? Unfortunately, you guys know the answer because, well, I said unfortunately. Let's go in there. I was so disappointed when I saw how his AI worked, because this is a big investment. Beating all those secret rooms in the Doom Tower, big investment, and I hope they fix it. So uh, straight through, we have a basic control team, lots of stuns, Miscreant Monster, Salvador Drakes, and Archmage Helmet there. We see that Akoth didn't do his HP burn. There's no HP burn on the Spiralings. He used his A3 first, and now he's going to use the HP burn on the small Spiralings. Every single one of the Spiralings has an HP burn, which is good. That's what we want to have in this team. That's what we want to have in the team that beats Spider 25. But if you don't have the HP burn going right from the start, you lose a ton of damage, and basically the round goes for way longer. Every one of your AoE hitters actually helps to take down the Spiralings, and the HP burns don't do all the work. You basically have to go in there with a team with as few as possible AoE attacks, but that's honestly very hard unless you have something like an attack who can actually freeze the Spiralings that doesn't do much damage. Then yes, you will have some control, and then the HP burns. But still, when he doesn't do what he's supposed to be doing, with the AI that he has immediately, then it totally makes this run go for way longer. Look at that, we're already 1 minute in and barely done any damage to the Spider. The Spider already healed one time. The reason that I have Miscreant Monster here is not for his big shields. I was actually wanted to see if his big shield would actually proc Akoth's A3. So Akoth will see, okay, there's a big shield for Miscreant Monster. There's no need to put my own shield in there. I'm going to use A2 immediately in the fight. No, that's not how it worked. The AI worked as if Miscreant Monster wasn't even there. The shield wasn't even there, unfortunately. And Akoth did his A2 after he did his A3, which is unfortunate, honestly. This run could have been way faster if Akoth was doing his A2 first. Obviously, we can go for a much different build now that I know this. I could have gone for, let's say, 300 speed on Akoth, so he goes tremendously fast and actually does all his skills and does his A2 as often as possible, but that would also bring a big target to him, and he would basically be useless for his A3. His A3 wouldn't do anything in the grand scheme of fighting both the Spider 25 teams, but also, let's say, beating the Doom Tower. So this team will actually beat the big Spider. There doesn't seem to be any issues in beating the Spider. But of course, everybody is geared pretty much end game, and I could have beaten it with, instead of Akoth here, I could have beaten it with another Cold Heart. It would have taken a little bit longer because of the cap on the damage. So this first test on Spider 25 was a disappointment, to say. I would say if they change the AI so that he does his A2 first, I will be so much more happier with Akoth. So he'll be much more important in terms of damage dealing than than other champions that have similar skills. So definite disappointment, but hopefully with introduction of new patches and the way for us to control the AI skills, maybe we find some way to use him in there by having him go with his A2 immediately instead of his A3. So the other place where I think he will be a great strength is, of course, the Hard Doom Tower. I'm not progressed through enough in the Hard Doom Tower to actually show you guys the most difficult stages, which should be the 100s. Usually, these are very tough stages, and honestly, HP burn is where it really is. You really find the big difference. So I'm gonna go in the normal Doom Tower instead. Let's go over to the boss in the end of the normal Doom Tower and see on how he does in there. Because of the HP burn, he should be able to provide some good damage on the big spider. So now we're at the boss, the ice spider, frost spider, whatever you want to call it. That's where the real difference is going to come from. Akoth will his HP burn application, both the big spider and the small spiders, actually help you take it down? I think it will. It's a small cooldown, only 3 turns cooldown. If you have him fast enough, you have a couple of boosters in there, he'll be taking frequent turns in there. He's not like Drexar, where Drexar depends on him getting hit most of the times for the actual HP burns to be applied. But comparing the two, the effort to get Drexar is I would say way less than actually getting Akoth. Because remember, Akoth is 200 fragments in to the Doom Tower, the normal Doom Tower. It takes a long time to get the champion. And the effort doesn't equal the reward so far. I mean, I get a champion with an HP Baron, that's great. But his AI is already broken. They should have seen it before they went in there. The same thing with Tia, the Tomb Lord. Tomb Angel. Tomb Lord is another champion. Yeah, Tia Tomb Angel. She had a bad AI in the sense that a bad skill set in the sense that we had no other champion to go with her together. It's the same thing with him with Akoth. He needs another champion for his A3 to work much better than it does work. When he does revive, when he does die, he will be activating his A3 immediately. So that's a cool skill. But that's not what you really want to see out of this champion. You want that HP burn to be applying on the enemies. That's where the real damage comes. That's where progression comes in the hard Doom Tower. And Akoth brings that. But if you have the firepower to take 200 fragments in the normal Doom Tower, I mean, you probably have solutions for the hard Doom Tower already. So my vote for Akoth would be just get him when you are going to get him. Don't go out of your way to level champions to do the normal secret rooms. He's not that special of a champion just yet. I would say that getting this champion will help you for demon spawn, but I mean, if you're 200 fragments in the normal Doom Tower, you already have solid teams for all faction wars, and I'm expecting you already have Lydia and working on other endgame stuff. So unfortunately, this guy doesn't deserve the effort. I would say Archmage Helmet definitely number 1 so far. This guy is number 2, and then Thea just because of how few options we have with Hex so far. So this was the video, guys. What do you think of Akoth? Will you be rushing to get him instead? What do you think of them releasing a champion like this with a faulty AI, not testing it out? I mean, they could have tested it. They could have given us this champion from way before to test out his AI and give them our opinions first. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. And guys, I'll see you in the next one. See ya!